Chosen one, hear this carefully before your mind tries to rush ahead. Tomorrow is not the point. Later is not the point. Even the next sign you are waiting for is not the point. This moment is, right now. You did not arrive here by accident, habit, or curiosity. You were guided here with intention. Something precise brought you to these words at this exact time, not because you needed information, but because alignment was required. Theory can wait. Inspiration can wait. This moment cannot. Because what is happening now is not preparation for a future encounter. It is the encounter. This is where many misunderstand the nature of divine attention. We are used to hearing broad statements, comforting but distant, like God loves you or God sees everyone the same. Those statements are true, but they are incomplete. Love is not the full picture. What you need to understand now is far more specific and far more confronting. God does not merely love you. God meditates on you continuously, with focus, with intention, with awareness that does not drift. When God thinks about you, it is not casual. It is not occasional. It is deliberate, sustained attention. Not because you are perfect, but because you are positioned. Meditation implies contemplation, assessment, and purpose. It means holding something in mind because it matters to what comes next. This is not sentimental affection. This is strategic care. Heaven is not watching you the way a crowd watches a performance. Heaven is considering you the way a master builder considers a load-bearing pillar. Your life, your decisions, your internal posture are being thought about in relation to what must be stabilized on earth. That is why the attention feels heavy at times. That is why you have felt pressure without explanation. That is why seasons of silence felt intense rather than empty. Silence was not absence. It was focus. You may have wondered why you could not simply drift. It is a destination already inhabited by God, who is guiding you toward it without panic. Now comes the breaker category, the one that dissolves the last layer of resistance. God is not only thinking about you, He is thinking about His own heart toward you. This is the angle most never consider. God meditates on the privilege of loving you. Not the obligation, not the duty, the privilege. This is where logic often protests. How could God see loving me as a privilege when I am flawed, inconsistent, unfinished? That question reveals how deeply performance-based worth has embedded itself in human thinking. But love at this level does not operate like salary. It is not earned through output. It is not adjusted by success or failure. It is covenantal in nature. Covenant love does not ask permission from logic. It flows from identity. God does not tolerate you. He cherishes you with intentional attention. There is a difference. Tolerance endures reluctantly. Cherishing delights deliberately. When God meditates on loving you, He is not weighing whether you deserve it. He is enjoying the expression of His own nature through relationship with you. Love is not something God does reluctantly. It is something God is. Loving you is not an exception to the rule. It is the rule in action. This reframes worthiness completely. You are not worthy because you performed well. You are worthy because you are known and chosen. Your flaws do not repel God. They draw His precision. His love does not overlook truth, but it does not withdraw because of it either. You are not a project He is tired of. You are a relationship He is invested in. Let this identity statement land fully now. You are not merely accepted. You are not merely forgiven. You are cherished with focused intention. God's attention toward you is not distracted or diluted. It is present, aware, and affectionate without being sentimental. To live from this reality, you need a way to tune into it daily, not occasionally. This is the divine frequency dial, a simple practice that builds fluency over time. Step 1, take 60 seconds of silence. Not prayer, not thinking. Just pause the inner broadcast. Let the noise settle. Step 2, ask one precise question. What are you meditating on about me right now? Do not elaborate. Precision invites clarity. Step 3, write down the first thought that arrives. Do not filter it yet. Do not analyze it. Step 4, Test it against God's nature. Does it draw you nearer or push you away? Does it carry love or fear? Does it invite honesty or shame? God's voice consistently moves you toward relationship, not distance. Step 5. Live from that thought for 24 hours. Let it shape how you speak, decide, and respond. Repeat this process for 30 days. Fluency builds through repetition, not intensity. Over time, you will notice something profound. God's meditation becomes familiar. His thoughts begin to feel recognizable. His love becomes a lived environment rather than a distant concept. Chosen one, God meditates on your past for redemption, your present for strategy, your future for impact, and His own heart for loving you. Nothing about you is an afterthought. Nothing about you is accidental. And the more you learn to tune into this frequency, the more naturally you will live from the truth that has been holding you all along. Chosen one revelation without application remains information, and information alone does not transform a life. What you have received must now be sealed. Not because it is fragile, but because sealing marks agreement. It is the moment where understanding moves from the mind into identity. Everything you have heard about God meditating on your past, your present, your future, and His own heart toward loving you must now be anchored so it cannot be diluted by fear, doubt, or old narratives. This is not the end of the message. It is the commissioning of it. So we transition now not into explanation, but into alignment. Enter this prayer not as a spectator, but as a participant. Let your posture shift internally. This is not performance. This is consent. Heavenly Father, we enter the courts of heaven, not by merit, not by perfection, but by invitation. We stand where truth is weighed and lies lose their authority. In this place, we bind every lie that has whispered that this one has been forgotten, overlooked, delayed, or tolerated. We bind the lie that silence meant abandonment. We bind the lie that struggle meant disqualification. We bind the lie that love had to be earned. These lies no longer have permission to speak. And now we loose revelation. We loose the truth that this life has been a meditation subject in your heart. We loose the knowing that this story has been studied, held, and shaped with intention. We loose the awareness that nothing in this timeline was accidental or wasted. Let this truth move from concept into conviction, from hearing into knowing, from momentary inspiration into permanent posture. We seal the 4 categories now. We seal the past as redeemed. Every wound, every loss, every moment of fear, abandonment, betrayal, and confusion is no longer a source of shame. It is marked as material for transformation. What was meant to diminish has been repurposed to develop discernment, compassion, authority, and protection. The past is no longer something to relive or resist. It is a foundation that has been sanctified. We seal the present as enjoyed, not ignored, not tolerated, enjoyed. Even in struggle, even in process, even in imperfection, there is divine attention. God is not waiting for completion to be present. He is present now. The fight itself has meaning. The return itself carries weight. The honesty itself is precious. Let the present no longer be interpreted as failure, but as evidence of life engagement and growth under watchful care. We seal the future as prepared. Not hoped for, not guessed at, but constructed. Doors are aligned. People are synchronized. Timing is precise. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is late. What is meant to meet this life will arrive when readiness and opportunity converge. Waiting is not emptiness. It is architecture. The future is not fragile, it is held. We seal love as established, not conditional, not temporary, not performance-based. Love here is covenantal, intentional, cherishing. This one is not merely accepted or forgiven. This one is delighted in with focused attention. The privilege of loving this life is embraced by God Himself. Let that truth disarm shame permanently. Let it quiet striving. Let it replace fear with rest. Now we declare confirmations. Not vague signs, but personal ones. Let clarity settle where confusion once lived. Let peace replace chronic tension in the body and mind. Let unnecessary distractions fall away. Let alignment accelerate without force. Let conversations, opportunities, and insights arrive with precision. Let this life recognize confirmation not through spectacle but through coherence. And let a new lifestyle of knowing begin where checking is replaced by trust and second-guessing is replaced by grounded awareness. We declare that this one will no longer live as if unseen, no longer move as if forgotten, no longer decide as if unsupported. A new internal posture is established now, not arrogance, not entitlement, identity. The quiet confidence of someone who knows they are being thought about with intention. And now comes the charge. Live like someone being thought about, not watched with suspicion, but considered with care. Let decisions be slower, cleaner, and truer. Let reactions soften. Let explanations decrease. Let integrity become instinct. Let rest be permitted. Let boundaries be honored. Let peace be protected. Stop checking. Stop scanning circumstances for reassurance. Stop measuring worth by outcomes, feelings, or approval. Start walking in identity. Identity does not rush. Identity does not beg. Identity does not perform. Identity moves with clarity because it knows where it stands. From this moment forward, let life be lived from agreement rather than anxiety. When doubt tries to return, remember this ceiling. When fear speaks, remember the courts. When old narratives resurface, remember that they have been bound and replaced. This is not something you visit occasionally. This is something you inhabit. Chosen one, if you feel the weight and peace of this moment simultaneously, that is alignment. Let it settle. Let it integrate. Let it become familiar. And now, as an activation agreement, signal your consent. Not for the algorithm, but for alignment. Subscribe to remain connected to this frequency, like as a mark of agreement. Comment the words meditation subject as a declaration that you receive this identity and choose to live from it. This is not engagement for attention. It is participation in a knowing. The message has been sealed. The identity has been commissioned. Now walk as one being thought about. Why every time you tried to disengage completely, something pulled you back into awareness. Why comfort never lasted long enough to become complacency. Why you felt observed even when alone. This was not paranoia, it was proximity. When something is being considered at a high level, it feels weighty, not dramatic, but serious. That seriousness you have felt was not judgment, it was attention. Now understand the stakes of what you are hearing. By the end of this, you will know 3 things clearly. You will know what God thinks about when He thinks about you, not in vague emotional terms, but in practical directional truth. You will receive a framework that allows you to hear that attention daily, not as voices or imagination, but as alignment, restraint, clarity, and peace. And you will be given a sealing prayer, not to beg for closeness, but to acknowledge what is already active and to keep interference from distorting it. This matters because divine attention is not neutral. It is activating. When heaven focuses, things shift, patterns break, resistance increases, responsibility clarifies. You cannot be under focused consideration and remain unchanged. This is why your life has felt like it was being shaped even when you were not consciously shaping it. This is why you were interrupted, redirected, slowed down, or isolated at critical moments. God was not micromanaging you. God was protecting an outcome. What does God think about when He thinks about you? He thinks about trust. Not whether you trust Him, but whether you can be trusted with influence. He thinks about your restraint under pressure, because restraint is rarer than talent. He thinks about your response when no one is watching, because that response predicts what you will do when power arrives. He thinks about your capacity to carry clarity without turning it into pride, and authority without turning it into control. Heaven does not fixate on your mistakes the way humans do. Heaven studies your patterns. Patterns reveal nature. Nature determines placement. This is why your growth did not come through constant affirmation. It came through refinement. You were allowed to feel unseen so that you would not depend on being seen. You were allowed to feel misunderstood so that you would learn precision rather than performance. You were allowed to feel delayed so that patience would become part of your structure, not just a virtue you talk about. God was thinking about sustainability, not a moment of success, but an enduring impact. The framework to hear this attention daily is simpler than you expect, but it requires discipline. Divine communication at this level is not loud. It does not compete with noise. It comes through three channels that must remain clear. The first is restraint. When you feel an impulse to react, explain, or prove, pause. Often the guidance is in the pause itself. The second is alignment. Notice what brings peace without excitement and clarity without urgency. That is often where divine thought aligns with your next step. The third is consistency. Heaven speaks through repetition, not novelty. The same correction appearing gently across days is more authoritative than a single dramatic moment. You are not meant to strain to hear God. You are meant to remove interference. Noise, urgency, emotional excess, and comparison all distort reception. This is why simplicity has been emphasized in your life lately. Fewer distractions, cleaner choices, more space. That space is not emptiness. It is bandwidth. It allows focused attention to land without distortion. Now hear this without fear. Being under focused consideration does not mean you are about to be overwhelmed. It means you are being aligned precisely. Heaven is not asking more of you than you can carry. Heaven is ensuring that what you carry next will not crush you or corrupt you. This is why preparation felt slow. Rushed alignment breaks people. Careful alignment builds them. The sealing prayer you are about to make is not a plea. It is an agreement. It does not ask God to notice you. It acknowledges that you are already noticed. It does not ask for direction. It commits to obedience when direction becomes clear. Speak it calmly without emotion, because emotion is not what seals alignment. Intention is. Say this quietly or aloud: I acknowledge the attention placed on my life. I choose clarity over confusion, restraint over reaction, and integrity over urgency. I receive guidance as alignment, not noise. I consent to be shaped accurately for what I am meant to carry. Let what is not from you lose access. Let what is from you settle deeply. I am present. I am willing. I am aligned. Do not wait for a feeling after this prayer. Feelings come and go. Alignment remains. The proof will not be emotional. It will be practical. Decisions will simplify. Temptations will lose intensity. Distractions will reveal themselves faster. Peace will become sturdier. That is how you know the attention is active. Chosen one, this is not theory. Heaven is thinking about you. Not abstractly, not occasionally. Specifically, strategically. Lovingly, yes, but also deliberately. And the fact that you are here reading this now is not the beginning of that attention. It is evidence that it has been happening for a long time. Chosen one, before we go any further, you need to understand what it means when Scripture speaks about God thinking about you. This is not casual awareness. This is not occasional reflection. A meditation subject is something held with intention, weight, and continuity. It is sustained contemplation. When God meditates, He is not remembering randomly. He is considering, deeply studying patterns and shaping outcomes. This is the framework you must hold as we talk about your past, because God does not glance at your history and move on. He holds it, examines it, and works with it. Psalm 139:17 reveals this more clearly than most realize. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God. How great is the sum of them. The original meaning of thoughts here is not fleeting ideas. It refers to focused meditation, intentional consideration. And the word translated as precious does not mean sentimental or sweet. It means weighted treasure, something valuable enough to carry substance, mass, and importance. When God meditates on you, He is not doing so lightly. Your life carries weight in His contemplation. That includes the parts you wish could be erased. This is where fear often enters. Many people assume that if God truly knows their past, He must recoil from it. The shame, the mistakes, the moments of weakness, the wounds that still ache when remembered. But this assumption misunderstands divine meditation completely. God does not study your past to accuse you. He studies it to redeem it. He does not look away from your history in disgust. He leans into it with purpose. Nothing in your timeline surprised him. Nothing disqualified you. What felt like exposure to you was information to him. Think about the sequence of your life honestly. Childhood often carries the first imprint. Maybe there was fear early on, a sense of instability, or the feeling that safety was conditional. Perhaps there was a birthday where no one showed up emotionally, even if they were physically present. A moment when you learned quietly that celebration was not guaranteed. That abandonment taught you self-reliance, but it also left a mark. God was there, not watching helplessly, but meditating on how that early wound would one day produce empathy, sensitivity, and the ability to notice who is overlooked. Then came adolescence, where labels replaced innocence. Maybe you were called too much, too quiet, too strange, too intense, or not enough. Those labels stuck longer than they should have. They shaped how you saw yourself and how others treated you. You tried to adapt, to fit, to survive the social weight of being misunderstood. God was meditating then as well. Not on the cruelty of the labels, but on how that season would sharpen your discernment, teach you to see beyond appearances, and free you from depending on identity given by crowds. Adulthood brought deeper betrayals. Trust was extended carefully, and still it was broken. You may have been loyal where others were opportunistic, honest where others were strategic, committed where others were temporary. Betrayal at this stage cuts deeper because it feels like proof that openness is dangerous. But again, God did not recoil. He studied. He meditated on how to convert that betrayal into boundaries without bitterness, authority without hardness, leadership without naivety. What others used to wound you, God used to fortify you. Here is the hidden angle most never see. In every painful scene of your life, God was not merely present. He was intentional. He was meditating on conversion, how fear would become courage, how abandonment would become attunement to others, how labels would dissolve into self-definition, how betrayal would refine discernment. Protection was being installed quietly. Leadership was being shaped invisibly. Not leadership that dominates, but leadership that understands cost, nuance, and responsibility. This is why Isaiah 43:18-19 must be read carefully. Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. This is not a command to suppress memory or deny pain. It is a call to stop dwelling in pain as if it were final. The new thing God speaks of does not grow in a vacuum. It grows from old soil, from history that has been tilled, broken, and prepared. Forgetting here means releasing fixation, not erasing experience. The past is not meant to imprison you, but it is meant to inform what comes next. Chosen one, your past is not evidence against you. It is evidence of investment. God meditates on it because it contains raw material for transformation. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing disqualified you. What you survived did not harden you. It refined you. What broke you did not end you. It revealed what could be rebuilt stronger. Heaven does not avoid your history. Heaven studies it carefully because it holds the blueprint of what you are becoming. So let this be the takeaway that settles in you now. Your past is not a liability in God's hands. It is meditation material, weighted, precious, and purposeful. God is not asking you to deny it. He is asking you to trust that He has been working within it all along, converting wounds into wisdom, pain into protection, and experience into authority. Chosen one. This is where the tension usually tightens, because when you look at your present, it does not feel impressive. It feels unfinished, messy. Active struggle often feels like proof that you are unworthy of divine focus. You look at the contradictions, the recurring battles, the areas that still require effort, and you assume quietly that God must be disappointed or distant until you get it together. But this assumption misunderstands how God meditates. He is not waiting for your present to look polished. He is already fully engaged with it precisely because it is alive. Your discomfort makes sense. The present is where weakness feels loudest. The past at least has narrative distance. The future has hope. But the present exposes you mid-process, mid-repair, mid-fight. And the human instinct is to interpret struggle as disqualification. You think, if I were really chosen, really aligned, really loved, this wouldn't still be so hard. That is your internal voice speaking, and it speaks in condemnation. God's voice operates differently. It does not deny the struggle, but it contextualizes it. Here is the contrast you must learn to recognize. Your voice looks at the mess and says, I'm a problem. His voice looks at the same moment and says, look at the fight. Your voice counts failures. His voice measures return. Your voice obsesses over inconsistency. His voice notices honesty. Your voice highlights what broke. His voice highlights what was repaired. This difference is not semantic. It is fundamental. Condemnation isolates. Context restores. God does not evaluate your present by its appearance. He evaluates it by its direction. This is why Hebrews 4:13 matters so deeply here. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of Him to whom we must give account. Chosen one, this final category widens the lens beyond what has been and what is. And it does something even more daring. It lets you see forward through God's eyes, and then it turns the gaze back on God Himself. This is where perspective breaks limitation. This is where fear dissolves. This is where love stops being an idea and becomes an active force shaping reality. God is not guessing your future. He is not speculating, hoping, or waiting to see how you turn out. He is already there. While you experience life sequentially, moment by moment, God inhabits time differently. He lives in your future while you are still moving through the prequel. What feels uncertain to you is already familiar to Him. What feels fragile to you is already established to Him. This is why His meditation carries calm instead of urgency. He is not anxious about where you are going. He knows where you land. Imagine a seemingly ordinary Tuesday in the future. Nothing dramatic announces it. You wake up, go about your day, and somewhere in the flow of life, someone crosses your path. They are carrying a wound you recognize instantly because it once lived in you. You do not give a speech. You do not quote a verse. You simply listen, speak a few precise words, or show up with a steadiness that feels different to them. Something in their chest loosens. Later, they pass that same steadiness to someone else. A decision shifts. A relationship softens. A cycle breaks quietly. That is how your future works. Your healed wounds become medicine not just for one person, but through a ripple you will never fully see. God meditates on that Tuesday, on that conversation, on that ripple. He studies how your past pain, once refined, becomes an instrument of relief for others. This is why your healing has been slow and deep rather than quick and superficial. God is not rushing you toward relief. He is preparing you for impact. Timing here is not neglect. It is synchronization. People, doors, and readiness must align simultaneously. A door opened too early leads nowhere. A healed heart without a prepared environment gets dismissed. Precision matters. This is what Jeremiah 29:11 truly speaks to when it says God has thoughts and plans for you. These are not vague hopes. They are blueprints. The word thoughts again implies meditation-focused consideration. The word plans implies architecture. God is not wishing good things for you. He is constructing them. And construction requires sequencing. Foundations before walls. Walls before doors. Doors before movement. Ephesians 2:10 deepens this further by saying you were created for good works prepared beforehand. Your purpose was pre-built before your awareness ever caught up to it. You are not inventing your future. You are stepping into something already designed. This is why waiting feels strange. It feels like nothing is happening because the work is not visible yet. But waiting is not empty. It is precision construction. It is God aligning internal readiness with external opportunity so that when movement happens, it holds. The takeaway here is simple but stabilizing. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not stalled. You are being positioned with accuracy. Your future is not a gamble.